Live to the Kenny Report.
I want to come to the issue of that Sydney teacher and the lockdown protests in a moment, but let's catch up with New South Wales Liberal Senator Holly Hughes. Joins us live from Sydney. Good to talk to you, Holly. I want to know why a coalition government in New South Wales, the Berejiklian government, would be extending such a brutal lockdown of 6 million people when all the advice from politicians and experts is that we're going to be putting lockdowns behind us in, 3 or 4 months anyway.
Well, I wish I was coming to you live from Sydney, but I'm coming live from Canberra in 2 weeks of isolation before we go back to Parliament. And, these lockdowns, the border restrictions are having impacts on people's lives. And we do need to get on top of this Delta strain. We do need to get our vaccination rates up. But the lockdown that's now impacting the whole of the Greater Sydney region, I do have some concerns that there aren't looking at restrictions being lifted in places that are seeing very little of the COVID strain being transmitted between people, where there are very few cases, that we're not looking at some parts of those Sydney being seeing restrictions lifted. And
yeah, well, you could look at
the northern beaches.
Yeah, you could look at the Wollongong area, you look at northern beaches now, you could look at Central Coast. But you understand my logic here. Even on the Prime Minister's calculation, he's saying by Christmas we should be able to put lockdowns behind us. A lot of epidemiologists, a lot of experts are saying you could be talking more like October, yet we've got such an extreme lockdown over so many people when we're talking about allowing the disease to be endemic in the community within about 3 months.
Yeah, and my 10-year-old said to me today, Mum, why are you in isolation? You've had full vaccination and 2 negative tests in the last week. When a 10-year-old can see it, perhaps maybe a few other people should start to open their eyes up a little bit as well. But it is getting to the point where we do need to look at when we can put lockdowns behind us. The Prime Minister said that they should be behind us because by Christmas, every Australian that wants access to a vaccine will be able to access it. And I think this is important. It shouldn't be about when everyone chooses to have a vaccine. This isn't mandatory. And if we want to make
it's just
it
about
mandatory,
opportunity.
Absolutely. And once everyone's had the opportunity to have a vaccine, that's it. Everyone else gets to go back to life. And if in like France, businesses want to only allow vaccinated people in, or airlines only want vaccinated people to travel, that'll be up to decisions I think businesses might make on their own. But we do need to get to a position where we say, if you choose not to have the vaccine, you're not going to impact every other business and every other person in the community. Because at the moment, this ridiculous vaccine hesitancy we're seeing about AstraZeneca, it is nothing to do with supply. It is about people not wanting to go and access the AstraZeneca vaccine. And that was not helped by the Queensland Chief Health Officer out there suggesting people not get it. I mean, that sort of behaviour is totally irresponsible and has contributed to this vaccine hesitancy. I mean, I've put to people, what brand was your flu vaccine? Last time you went overseas, what vaccine did you get?
Yeah,
and,
yes.
That they don't know. And all of a sudden, they're now some sort of haematology expert. The risk of a clot with vaccines through AstraZeneca is less than the contraceptive pill. So every woman that's ever been on the contraceptive pill didn't get a clot. Well, there you go. And it's aspirin.
We've created an enormous problem for ourselves.
highlight.
Yeah, we've got excess vaccines in the country, yet the situation is there's a shortage because of this preference. Thanks so much for joining us, Senator. Thanks. Sorry to cut you off, and best of luck in quarantine, in isolation there. I know it's not much fun. Senator Holly Hughes there from New South Wales. As you heard, she's isolating in the ACT to do some time in Canberra. Imagine that, isolating in a room for 2 weeks just so you can hang out at Parliament House, Canberra for a couple of weeks. Oh, my God.